Ever feel like you're stuck in a loop? You hit a wall, try a new life hack, download a new app, or grasp at a quick fix, and somehow things just end up worse. You're exhausted, and the problem hasn't moved an inch. It turns out that exact feeling of being trapped in a loop is documented in an ancient text. Chapter 7 of the book of 1 Samuel records how one group of people broke out of that cycle when it seemed impossible. The frustration of failing quick fixes isn't new. It's a deeply historical problem, and the solution requires moving past the surface to address the way we've been living. Take the ancient nation of Israel. When we enter their story, they are completely cornered. They have been beaten down and lived under the heavy thumb of their enemies for decades. This chart shows exactly why they were stuck. Whenever a crisis hit, instead of turning to God, they turned to idols. These were statues of local gods that promised quick rain or easy victories. They had no actual power, which left the people right back in defeat, facing an even bigger crisis the next time around. The constant consequence of this broken cycle was a group called the Philistines. They were a massive, heavily armed neighboring empire that loomed over Israel like a storm, taking what they wanted and leaving misery and engaging wake. As long as a person, or an entire nation, looks for rescue and powerless substitutes, they guarantee their own continued oppression. This is where a leader named Samuel steps in. He gives the Israelites a blunt ultimatum. If you want real help, you have to completely abandon your fake substitutes. No more hedging your bets. They had to physically and spiritually clean house. This meant literally smashing the statues and throwing away the familiar habits that kept them trapped. They had to clear away the old to make room for God. Samuel calls everyone to gather at a town called Mizpah. The way they arrive is crucial. They don't show up in armor with swords drawn. They arrive empty-handed and go without food to show they have nothing left but their trust in God. Together, they do something incredibly rare. They admit they were wrong. There are no excuses, no pointing fingers at the Philistines. They simply say, "We have sinned against the Lord." This moment wasn't about trying to behave better. They chose to stand vulnerable before the one source of help they had ignored for years. But the moment they committed to this change, the old problem came knocking. The Philistines heard about the gathering at Mizpah. They saw a perfect target, an unarmed crowd, and immediately marched out to attack. In the past, the Israelites would have panicked and run back to their fake gods. This time, they held their ground. They begged Samuel, "Do not stop crying out to the Lord our God for us, that he may rescue us." Samuel prayed, and God responded instantly. But he bypassed conventional warfare entirely. No swords, no shields, no strategic maneuvers. The text says God thundered with a loud thunder. A massive, roaring sound from the sky struck the Philistine army. The sheer force of it threw the enemy troops into total panic and confusion. The Israelites won a complete victory. They chased the retreating army for miles, reclaiming their territory, and they did it without having to strike the first blow. When human effort is entirely surrendered, God's power proves to be the rescue they actually needed. The battle ended. The thunder faded. The dust settled, revealing a new reality for Israel. They were finally free. To make sure they never forgot exactly how this incredible rescue happened, Samuel took a single large uncarved stone. He carried it out and planted it firmly into the dirt between two towns. He called this monument EBENEZER, a name that means stone of help. It stood as a physical reminder of the power that rescued them. As he set it up, Samuel declared the meaning behind the stone. "Thus far, the Lord has helped us." That rock was necessary because human memory fades over time. When the next crisis hits, it is easy to panic and go back to old cycles. We need markers to anchor us to the truth of what has already happened. This chart shows the difference. Before this moment, their lives were a chaotic plunge into oppression, but after setting up that stone, the cycle broke. The intervention resulted in lasting stability. The Philistines stopped invading, and Israel experienced genuine peace. So what does this look like for the loops in your own life? The habits or the anxieties that never seem to actually change? The lesson is to move away from the quick fixes that fail. Look for your own EBENEZER, markers reminding you to turn away from what doesn't work and remember where true help is found.